Well, take a look at this. Their chandelier swaying as an earthquake hit near southern Idaho just before 5 o'clock this evening. This video was taken in Medellin, Washington, and we felt the quake all the way here in Spokane, too. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan, broadcasting from my home again tonight as we here at KREM 2 are practicing social distancing. Meantime, my colleague Regina On up at the KREM 2 studio a few miles away. Regina, I felt the earthquake here at my house. Did you guys feel it at the studio as well?
You know, some of us felt it. I definitely felt it. It felt like my desk was kind of swaying a little bit back and forth, but it kind of brought me back to California, so I was used to it a little bit. All right, thanks, Mark. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. We've been getting a lot of texts from you guys telling us you felt the quake from all over the place. Some of you even said you felt it in cities like Troy, Coeur d'Alene, and Colbert. Today certainly has been quite the day for weather. That earthquake originated near Challis, Idaho, and was actually registered at a 6.5. I spoke with a seismologist today and professor of geological science from the University of Idaho who tells me this is a very mysterious and unexplainable earthquake, and which could possibly spur other earthquakes to come in the near future.
I have been waiting 28 years for this earthquake. The last earthquake we had was in 1983 when I first started teaching here at the University of Idaho. And so finally we have a big earthquake. This was a big earthquake for Idaho, magnitude 6.5. Salt Lake City had that earthquake last week. I believe that was only a 5.7. So this was 25 times bigger than that earthquake in Utah.
So what triggered this particular earthquake?
Well, that's a great question. We have to rethink what we know about the geology of central Idaho because we do not expect this type of fault motion in that location. It's just north of the Sawtooth Mountains, if you've ever been to Sun Valley in that area. So you have those big mountains there, but that shouldn't have made this type of fault motion.
You know, you mentioned that we're not on plates and we're not like California. And I know that there's a lot more research that needs to be done to see what exactly caused this earthquake. But if you had to come up with an educated guess as to what it could be, what would that be in your opinion?
Well, you're exactly correct. We do not understand stresses that affect Idaho. I think there is a significant seismic hazard in North Idaho, in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, right up through the Silver Valley. There's a huge fault up there. It's called the Osborne Fault. It's a billion-year-old fault. So some of the older buildings in North Idaho, public school buildings, particularly in Idaho, which are built out of brick, unreinforced masonry, are subject to earthquake shaking. And look how strong Spokane shook today from an earthquake that was, 200 miles at least away from you. Mm-hmm. So if we would have an earthquake like this, in Coeur d'Alene or Spokane or in the Silver Valley or further north by one of the other towns, there could be really significant damage.
If you'd like to see the full interview, you can visit our website. Well, we saw an earthquake and then we had this, a tornado in Washington as well, a touchdown near Richland this afternoon. It happened a few hours ago and was confirmed by NWS Pendleton. So with that, let's turn to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. So Thomas, what can you tell us about that tornado?
So here's the thing. In the state of Washington, we average 2 tornadoes each year. So it's definitely not impossible, but it takes an extraordinary circumstance to even get a tornado spin up in the first place. Because, we're not the Great Plains. We're not the Midwest. We don't see those classic supercell thunderstorm signatures. And we usually don't have the moisture to help things along. So what happened today in Richland, the Tri-Cities? Well, we had some of these just showers that were moving along, and on the radar you see a little bit of that yellow and orange pop up just north of Richland. I think that was the small cell that was just strong enough, the wind's moving in just the right direction to produce this tornado. It might have been a cold air funnel variety tornado at first look, but then we saw the pictures and boy, that seems a little bit stronger than just your typical cold air funnel. So great work by everybody capturing these pictures and videos safely and making sure that we were able to see them so that way we could confirm that that tornado did in fact happen. An active day not just in the Tri-Cities, but all the way across the inland Northwest. I mean, we saw snow, graupel, rain, And if you notice during the afternoon hours, yeah, those are lightning strikes between Spokane and Kootenai counties. So some areas got thunderstorms. Other areas, like myself, I saw thunder snow today. So very wild, very active weather, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down for a few days. So we'll break down the intensity and when we can see some more rain and snow in our forecast in a few minutes. But now, let's send things over to Mark.
All right, Thomas, thank you very much. Well, yesterday, tents were blowing over and crews were packing up that drive-through coronavirus testing site at the Spokane County Fairgrounds. And now leaders say they're trying to find a more secure location to have the site back up and running as quickly as possible. They're considering other sites that could last longer and withstand stronger weather.
And that may be at the fairgrounds, it may be at a different location. We have a couple different options. We'll be able to give an update Thursday morning for sure.
Leaders at the Regional Health District say they expect the new site to be up and running by tomorrow morning. City leaders are also looking at the fairgrounds as a possible quarantine and isolation site to help with the coronavirus response.
Governor Jay Inslee adding additional guidance today to that statewide stay-at-home order. He added that nannies are essential if they are in the home taking care of children of essential workers, automotive repair facilities, and renewable energies. Inslee also signed a proclamation that will allow experienced employees in the industries of medicine, public health, law enforcement, and other essential positions who are nearing retirement to remain in their positions. And right now, government, health, public safety, and non-government workers in our region are all working together to navigate the health and safety of our community. Their collaboration is all taking place under one roof at the Spokane Fire Training Center. It's now being referred to as the Inland COVID-19 Response Command Center. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley shares how these agencies are working together during this unprecedented time.
Over the last few weeks, you may have seen videos like this.
As this outbreak continues, that trend will start to level off.
These are Spokane's regional leaders providing the community updates and directives during the pandemic. And it's all done right here at the Spokane Fire Training Facility. 71 different agencies from our region are represented at the Inland COVID-19 Response Command Center. Those include Spokane County Sheriff's Office, Spokane Regional Health District, and city leaders, all of which are working together under one roof.
Having everybody in the same building is absolutely essential. This whole incident is so complex and there are so many parts and pieces to it, whether it is the health response, which Ray can speak to, or whether it is the logistics support and the things that my office is doing.
An emergency command center for these agencies was also used during the 2015 windstorm. Right now, it is organized by these functions. Each function serves the purpose of getting critical information out to the public quickly and sending resources where they are needed. Command Center team members frequently look at short-term and long-term steps that need to be taken during this pandemic.
We call that futuring, and it's the intent to lean forward and anticipate. Because if you are leaning forward and anticipating the potential issues, the decisions you might have to make, then you're in a better position to act once you hit those identified trigger points or decision points.
What's happening on the ground starts here in operations and planning. In fact, this function was responsible for setting up the drive-through screening site at the Spokane County Fairgrounds. So if you're looking for the helpers, they are here at the command center. Agency representatives work 7 days a week, at times more than 12 hours a day, to protect and serve our community. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Now let's send things back to Mark at home to go over the latest on the coronavirus numbers here in the Inland Northwest. Mark?
Yeah, Regina, the Spokane Regional Health District says there are now 145 people diagnosed with the coronavirus here locally. So far, 22 people have been hospitalized and 4 deaths have been confirmed. Across Washington, there are now more than 4,800 cases. The death toll stands at 195. Again, 145 people have been diagnosed with COVID-19 in Spokane County, 22 hospitalized, 4 dead. In Grant County, there are 50 confirmed cases and 1 death. We want to give you a comprehensive look at cases across the region now. Those are all listed right there on your screen. Across state line in Idaho, the Panhandle Health District reports 30 cases in Kootenai County. Right now, there is 1 case in Bonner County, and statewide, the death toll is now at 9 among 513 total cases. Now, every day we get new data about the spread of the coronavirus in Washington, the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of tests given. But do those numbers tell the whole story? Our Casey Decker took that question to the state's health officer.
So the first number that everyone's tracking, of course, the number of confirmed cases. And while technical issues have made it tricky to keep real-time accurate data, Dr. Kathy Lofi says longer-term data is more useful anyway. One figure from that data that initially seems alarming, the daily number of new cases. Early last week, the high-end estimate was 250 new cases per day. By last weekend, that had shot up to as many as 600. But Dr. Lofi says this is actually a good thing.
Most of this jump in case counts was due to a doubling in the number of people who were tested. And that's actually good news because testing capacity has been limited, and to see an almost doubling in the number of people who are being tested is great.
So how do we know how fast the virus is really spreading? Lofi says look to a different figure, the percentage of daily tests that come back positive. In mid-March, that number was 6 or 7%. In the past few days, it's become more like 8 or 9%.
And this suggests an increase in COVID-19 activity in the state.
And the number of daily deaths is going up as well. So what does that mean? Is social distancing not working? Well, that's not quite it. Because even though the virus is still spreading, it's spreading gradually. Whereas in places like New York, COVID-19 cases are skyrocketing.
The data really suggests currently that COVID-19 is still increasing in our state, but it does not appear to be increasing at an exponential pace. We do believe that our social distancing measures are having some impact in slowing down the spread of the virus.
So if we're flattening the curve, what does that curve look like now? Lofi pointed to modeling done by UW. Right now, they predict Washington will hit its peak on April 19th, and for things to be quieted down by the end of June. Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.